world of many different diets, of people trying to find out what ways of eating is best for themselves, I have created my own diet, but it seems to be outside the realm of all diets. In fact, it is so unique that I hesitating publishing it for the past 5 or 6 years. It is a book that I started originally in 2018, and it grew so massively it would take me a while to review it. It's called the Arda diet. The Arda diet, being honest with you, just as is, because nobody in the diet industry is for the most part honest since they want to gain a profit off of individuals. It is for weight loss, it is for diabetes, it is for those basic health problems, but it provides many different tips throughout the course of the book. But it's, like I said, not like a conventional diet book overall, in any which way whatsoever. In fact, I even call it the most complex bio-individual diet. It's figurative and unique, meaning that there are a lot of analogies, there are a lot of symbolism, there is a lot of terminology that's being used here that I created especially at a younger age to invoke the creativity, especially inspired by Lord of the Rings and World of Warcraft. So talk about unconventional. Well, the thing is that those games did give rise to me in my mind and to my health, actually. And I was looking at games like World of Warcraft, and I said, well, you go through the game, you level up, you do different quests, and you improve upon the character that you created. Well, much like ourselves in this real life, we develop ourselves over time in life, and as we level up, we become perhaps the best version of ourselves. We have to face challenges, we have to gather in groups with other individuals if we must, and gain support from them, or learn what's the best gear to use, the best food to consume. It's all just like a diet. It's a journey in life like anything else, but especially a weight loss journey, because weight loss takes effort. It takes individuals, it takes some discipline to make it possible. It's not something that you can just be like, I'm gonna do it and this is gonna solve all my problems. No, it takes discipline. And so to have a journey with you all the time might be beneficial for a lot of individuals, but I'm not here to sell you on the book, because I'm telling you it's unconventional. I'm giving you the warning right away. And I'm telling you I'm honest because most of the industry is dishonest. I'm telling you that it doesn't have a set agenda because a lot of them have agendas. So what is it, Corey? What is it? What could it possibly be? Well, it is the one diet to rule them all. It is the one that combines all the different ways of eating together into one very, very full holistic book. There's an index, there's chapters, and you can see sometimes the text can get quite small. And there's photos, there's levels, and for each level there's different tasks that you can do before you move on to the next level. Particularly the leveling section is the bulk of this book. The rest is describing that process and building up to that process, and then refining upon that process and seeing what alternatives therein exist. And trust me, there are many different health tips that many people don't know about that are included within this text. Myself included, I have to go back and look at it and be like, wow, there's so much in here that this is why I wrote a book. This is why I had to put it down on paper, and I felt morally obligated to share it with the world because of how much was in it. But think about it. Your life, you go through the journey, you have to challenge yourself, and it really is a game of life, especially as you try to find out the best way to live this life or the best way to achieve your goals, in this case, weight loss primarily. Okay, so I'm an integrative nutrition health coach. My channel started out with primarily health-based content. That's why this book was pretty old, and of course I shifted priorities to freedom and truth ideas, which are therein related, because you see nowadays how much focus is on health, how much focus is on the doctors who are leaving their professions because they're sick of what's happening in the world. You see what's happening with individuals and what they're doing to their own bodies. and how mental health is also greatly impacting this generation. And perhaps some play, some creativity into the mix would be better than some dogmatic list of things to do. Perhaps a more individualized approach of, this is my character, this is who I'm creating, I get to adjust and see all my options. That's exactly what the Arda diet is. Arda is a term for the Lord of the Rings Earth, basically. The Earth of Middle Earth. So it's Arda, okay? Middle Earth is just one part of Arda. Arda is that entire universe, that entire world. Middle Earth, you can look at sort of like the Mediterranean. We look at Greek and the Mediterranean diet, and we see that as very beneficial for a lot of people's health. Why? It's in the center of the world, we typically consider. A lot goes on in that part of the world. And we say, man, these guys, they're drinking red wine, they got salmon, they got avocados, they got the fats, they got the proteins, they got everything in their diet. It's very balanced. But even though we can say that, it may not be the best for everybody. There is a spectrum that we can look at between different ways of eating, and we can see how they relate to one another, but we have to place ourselves within the coordinates of such a spectrum, and that's why I created many charts and diagrams to sort of help fulfill that picture. Many people want to say there's one way to eat, but that is not the case, especially in the Arda diet. It considers every possible way of eating. And I mean that because you can look through it and it teaches you some basic nutrition, and then from there says experiment. Here's a bunch of things you can do and start adding into your life. Don't take anything out, actually. Start doing new things, and if by adding new things, those bad things will naturally come out on their own. So there's a magic to this process. There's integrative nutrition principles at play in this process. And that's why I developed this. That's why I felt the need to share it with the world, because there is nothing like this. I'm aware of some people who might have looked at video games and compared it to real life and seen how powerful it is to individualize dieting. But I have yet to see a book as full as this, with as many alternatives and tips in it, that really helps address an individual and bring them onto a journey throughout years of time. I mean, you're talking, how many pages is this? Over nearly 600? Okay, so that's a journey. It takes time. You can't expect to lose weight or to achieve your goals within a week or within a month necessarily, unless you do drastic measures, which are also covered in this book. But we want it to be impactful and lifelong. We don't want it to be where we just lose weight and then we regain it back. Okay, we want to look at the glycemic index. We want to look at why vegan diets work for people, why keto or paleo diets work for people, why the Mediterranean diet works for people, why Asians do okay in their countries. What is it that people have across the world? Why is it they do better than us, even though, especially in America, you have access to so much different food and exports? People don't even know about growing their own food. People don't even know about what spices and foods exist out there. They don't even know about what techniques they can do, muscle techniques, different machinery they can use to help on their progression. There is so much out there, and it may seem overwhelming, but to have it on the book like this allows you to say, okay, what is this? I can now research it, and now I'm on another journey within the journey. And that's what this ultimately is. This is a guide for your life. Your life already is a journey. This just puts it into practice and says, this is the world you're embarking on, Arda, and Arda is within your world. Just like you would be in World of Warcraft or in Lord of the Rings, embarking on that journey, on that adventure, immersing yourself within it to embrace its truths or embrace the world for your own world, to become who you want to be, right? And so a little mix of fantasy, a little mix of play is okay if we recognize that it can help us in the real world for our real problems. And that's exactly what I did. This is a creative and figurative work, but because of how complex it is, I cannot recommend it to everybody. So be sure to check it out on your own. There's previews on the Amazon page for it, self-published again, just like all my other books, and you can read the back as well, where it talks to you about it. And just, you know, if you have any questions, let me know. I don't want you to invest in something that you may not like. I may have different versions of this. I would encourage you to make different versions of this. This is to me like the Bible of the Arda diet. And then from there, we can make the Book of Quests and whatever else may come thereof. You can see more information about it on the screen. There's a QR code that you can scan, or you can go to nita.one/Arda. That's nita.one/Arda. Arda, nita.one/ARDA. Okay, and if you want, there's also information in the book about the Hourglass Template. This is very important as I consider it a new modern understanding therein the health and the human body, and that is using the symbol of the hourglass and its symbolic nature for understanding our glass. What we consume through drinks is more important than what's on our plate. In fact, we can make smoothies and juices, and this is actually healing people. It's providing meals for people. It's treating all sorts of different conditions, and it is amazing. So the Hourglass Template, our glass, like you and I, our glass, and the template, because it's the new plate. It is what most people are getting their calories from, sugar sweetened beverages, SSB, right? But so far also water. People underestimate the power of and how much our body is made up of water. The earth is made of water, and what we can do with water, everything from ozone to, you name it, hydrogen and crystal medicine and vibrational medicine. I mean, water has so much potential on its own. It can just heal people on its own. So there's magic in the drinks. There's magic in our glass. And that's why it's better than my plate. It's better than the USDA food pyramids and all these other systems that people have developed, because it is individualized but also practical and easier to digest and providing more nutrition. So be sure to check it out. The Arda Diet, a personalized full journey in health. Take care.